Hey everyone, welcome back to another Pro League analysis video. The R6 Canada Nationals has entered their Stage 2, which means that we're having a couple more teams playing for a chance to compete at LAN in Toronto. So today we're going to look over some of the clips from the teams playing in the tournament. So for those unfamiliar with the format, basically I just let the clip run, you guys hear everything including the commentators, and then I'll go through and dissect the clip section by section. And I'll try to break down both the mistakes and the good things that the Pro League players did. Now with that all covered, let's get into the video.
Yeah, so Office State coming out is honestly going to be a rather precarious standpoint, okay? We've talked about these drones and how instrumental they've been, but not to mention how aggressive Doc has been playing. If Celio is able to land those crucial shots, I truly am afraid if Grizzly's able to get these refrags. They have not shown it before, and they're not going to show it this time again. He's able to peek around, that's one onto Najex. Refrag comes in a little bit late, but it's going to do the job nonetheless. Zakato, somehow the Thermite is going to be the able one to get the entry frag on the board, which is quite intriguing to say the least. That's going to be an IQ, though, for a Doc, which ideally you could say, okay, yeah, at times that would favor Doc. However, this is not the case whatsoever. IQ off when you have an Echo and a Lesion on the board, that's not what you're looking for whatsoever. That's probably one of the worst picks you could have had. And Lesion, how many mines? What, 5 or 6 mines he was able to put on the playing field? That's definitely going to do some damage if utilized correctly. Echo also being able to be alive, and Storm's doing some damage himself. That's going to be S4 wheel falling. Storm's able to cause some thunder and lightning and wreak havoc all over the playing field. 3-on-3 scenario ensues. You have Grizzlies versus Psychopaths at the current moment, and right now, seeing a bit of a stall come out from the Grizzlies as they're trying to figure out what the positions are regarding the defenders, how they're going to decide to push this final site, and how they're going to decide to utilize their utility. Are they going to thermite the wall, or is simply going to try and smoke and get a plant down while covering angles? 20 seconds left. You're going to see a metal stairs rotate come up. I believe Storms is actually read into this, so if he peeks around correctly, he's going to win the gunfight onto Thatcher. And he's actually, it's going to be Bosak going to take one out, but not before he tries to go through a rotate hole. He gets taken out himself. That's Angel getting tagged down, but the Yokai's still in play. He's actually going to land one down. Is he able to delay the plant? Yes, he is.
5 seconds remaining.
4 seconds. He's going to try and frag out. He's going to see, but he's behind the shield. This has not been called out of his team. Psychopaths are going to win on time alone. Oh no.
So for this first clip, the main thing that I want to talk about is the end play with Echo. But before we get into that, let's talk about the rest of the clip. Some of the things I say might be echoed by the casters because they're analyzing the plays as they happen, so sorry if it seems a little repetitive. But the first big mistake made was IQ dying. I understand you don't want to lose any of your special utility like Thermite, Thatcher, Jackal, so you put in the IQ to push in first, right? That makes sense, but when you're dealing with a team that has Lesion and Echo, you need that IQ to disable the Yokais and the Gumines. Otherwise, you're going to have a very, very hard time planting. So I think the main reason why this misplay happened is because it's very hard to see, but you can see that Thermite is droning in IQ. The drone doesn't get destroyed, Doc sees it, but focuses more on the window. Thermite calls out where Doc is, and IQ just jumps in, thinking that she can sneak past because she doesn't know that Doc is watching that window. However, what should have been done is that the Thermite should have kept his drone on the Doc to see where Doc was peeking. Because there's no way IQ is going to win that gunfight if she's jumping in through a window and Doc's already got his sights on. So if Thermite just kept his drone there, made sure Doc wasn't peeking, IQ could have jumped in, pushed up close to desk, and probably got Doc. Now we're going to move forward to the Thatcher and Alibi play. Alibi's playing below in Workshop, and Thatcher rotates around by going outside through the passport entrance and going through waiting room, and rotates in to try to kill Alibi. Overall, this is a good play because Alibi can sit below, wait for the calls on Yokai, and then shoot the planter through the floor. Any attackers have nothing they can do about it. So it's very much necessary that someone rotates down to take care of her, and Thatcher does it perfectly. However, I personally think that maybe sending in Jackal would have been the better choice. I understand that they wanted the smoke grenades from Jackal in order to put down the plant without people being able to see them, but they know they're going up against an Echo. The Echo is going to be able to spot Thermite regardless. And as you can see, Thatcher still had 1 EMP grenade left. So if Thatcher had gone in with Thermite for the plant, he could Thatcher the room to just disable the Yokai so they can't stop the plant, get the plant down, hold from outside. Meanwhile, all Jackal was able to do was throw down some smokes at the doorway, prevent people from peeking in, but Echo's not going to peek in because he has the drone. So that then resulted in Jackal having to push out towards Echo to try to get the kill before he could stop the plant. And then this is where the next huge misplay happens, is that Echo makes the right play, peeks out, kills Jackal because Jackal's pushing him. Then he gets back on his drone and stops Thermite from planting. But like the caster said, The info was not relayed to Thermite. Thermite had no idea where Echo was, even though Jackal had just died to him. That is a call that really should have been made and definitely lost in the round, because then Thermite could have been a bit more aggressive and pushed in. As you see him pushing in, you can see him checking the corners and looking at every default spot trying to find Echo. Overall, I really like this clip because it's a great way to show how Echo can be very effective on the defender side, and also a good example of how the attackers really need to prioritize which attackers stay alive towards the end of the round when there's an Echo in play. If they had kept their IQ alive and used Jackal as an entry fragger instead, then maybe that round would have gone differently. And also, if they'd had Jackal rotate downstairs instead of Thatcher, I think they could have also gotten the plant down and maybe won that round.
There's 2 passport walls that are soft, and clearly those reinforcements went to back Fountain and Archives. That seems like a pretty good vulnerability.
Yeah.
So if you're Psychopaths, and you don't exploit that, I'm going to be mad. And they're going for this top clear again. There needs to be some more intel downstairs onto the site, because if those passport walls are soft, really all you need is someone outside break door. You don't even need to be in CCTV. All you need to be is outside break door. And you can hold anyone playing the hatch. Like, Zakuto's going to get overwhelmed on site. He's the only one on site. Like, this is a perfect opportunity for Psychopaths to go for a rush in through passport wall, into customs and get a plant down and actually hold in a post plant. It'd be a chaotic as hell post plant.
Oh, yeah.
But it's better than anything you've done so far.
I mean, that's going to be an interesting frag grenade. It's not going to tag on to anything. I mean, I like the idea. You try throwing a frag grenade through the rotation from the top half of the wall, I guess you could say. But unfortunately, it's not going to pan out in the favor. Not quite the trajectory you were wishing for. And Angel's been able to escape with his life. And fortunately, he's not going to be sent bound to the depths of hell. He's still going to be an angel floating in heaven. It's going to be a minute 30 seconds left on the clock. You have Grizzlies that is still in a rather favorable standpoint regarding time and positioning. They still have top floor control, still have 5-on-5, and they have man advantage in their favor now. The Jack's going to be able to get one, but not for Storms has something to say about that. Angel's going to fall down. That's going to be the rogue uniform falling down to the board, and Jax falls. And so far, it's going to be looking like somehow Psychopaths is able to bring this round back, and they're going to be able to get vertical play and the hatches open, judging by the fact the hatches aren't open. Another one falls, and that's going to be Kozak tagging one onto the board for himself.
Well, there's a minute ticking down, and there goes Zofia. So that's Bozak to fall at the hands of Sawwill. So that's down to a 3v2 as Zakuto's roaming outside the main lobby hallway. Got a prone Storms above on top of the desk looking down the hatch now. Is he going to drop into sight? He will. He's going to drop into customs. The wall is still soft now. Both the defenders having to defend the bomb site from the outside in. Ping's coming out into the main hallway, so Storms knows that Zakuto is around the corner. Waiting for a plant to come down. There's only 30 seconds, and slowly peeking the corner will be Storms, and he's going to lose his life on the slow peak there. Down to a 2v2, and Kozak is lower on HP, so the health advantage and the utility advantage. Still having Yokais and the Nitro Cell. One through the wall, but not before Saw will collect. And now pushing up metal stairs, unaware of where Socrates is. All he really has to do is play this angle, wait for the vault in and turn the corner, shots land, and now all he has to do is turn away and use the Yokai drone that is in sight. It is an IQ that can spot it. Yeah, there's no plant going to be going down here for Socrates. He's hunting for the kill, and Sawwill, his top side. Hey, found it. It's 3-1 lead for the Grizzlies.
So for the second clip, there's another Echo play that I really want to talk about, but we're going to save it towards the end. First, we want to talk about basically what the casters were saying is that the attackers really dropped the ball here on their attack. There was only one person on site, 4 people up top holding. All they had to do was just push in through passport, break the wall, and get in. One yokai was allocated upstairs, the other one was on site in customs. As you can see next to the mute, there are 2 soft walls. They don't even actually have to thermite it. They could have Sledge or Zofia break in. Once they've killed mute, IQ pushes in, they destroy the drone on site, and they just plant. Sure, the defenders can break hatches and try to hold from above, but by the time they're going to be able to do that, the plant should already be down, and the attacker should have the advantage. You just hold from detention or from outside passport. Instead, they decide to go for more of an upstairs take to avoid having to hold with 5 defenders running at them. And they also made some mistakes here. Since they didn't make the passport push, I'm just assuming overall there's not too much intel gathering on their team. You can also see it later when Echo just kills Zofia because he's sitting in small office and no one droned him out. And as Zofia is dead on the ground, you see the drone jump over her body. So a lot more could have been done for intel gathering. Or even just spreading intel. If I'm not mistaken, IQ saw Echo cross here in small office, but they just assumed that Echo had dropped down through the hatch. So instead of checking to make sure, they just assume that they're safe. This leads to them having a 4 versus 2 advantage down to a 3 versus 2. And then a few other small misplays happen which really start to fuck them over. Sledge gets a little aggressive and decides to very, very slowly peek up against a mute holding an angle. Something you generally don't want to do. You never want to slow peek overall, but for some reason he slow peeks someone holding an angle waiting for him. They had even made the call. You could see that he got pinged, or that mute got pinged, so Sledge knew exactly where he was, yet he still decided to slow peek. It eventually boils down into a 1v1 with IQ versus Echo, but by the time that IQ can pick up the diffuser, because Thermite had dropped in through hatch and died to Echo, she only has about 2 or 3 seconds left, and there's a yokai next to her. A lot of people are probably saying, why didn't she just plant? Even if she got echoed, at least she could have tried planting. There's no point. At that point, you might as well either go for the kill or look for the yokai and then try to plant. Trying to stick a 7-second plant with a yokai driving around is just a waste of time, and you're guaranteed not going to win. Overall, Echo did play this round incredibly smart by constantly just staying in corners and hiding as opposed to trying to be a gunner and run after people. He could have easily died multiple times if he had tried to be more aggressive, but also he could have died if the attackers had actually just droned out and made calls where people were. Another small mistake I want to point out by the attackers was their push onto customs. Sledge droned himself out, he knew where mute was, and then just dropped hatch. Instead of waiting for his whole team to come up and help him, he decided to try to just engage in a 1v1. Generally, for Pro League and in Ranked in the high levels, you always want to play for trades. You don't necessarily always want to go for the 1v1 situations. You want to make as many of them a 2v1 as possible so that if you die, your teammate can trade you out and then you keep the advantage. But instead of that, he just pushed in, died, and then it turned into a 2v2. So a lot of mistake on the attackers' parts, and good job on Echo for capitalizing on them.
All right, so admins say we're good with the Warden. So ladies and gentlemen, if I'm not mistaken, this is your first view of Warden in competitive play. We'll see how well it does. Psychopath is currently down 5-2, so pulling out all the stops necessary to try and survive in this game. I don't know, it looks like secondary smoker now. He's got Shoddy and SMG-12, so you got a Warden this time to hold server stairs. I was going to say, yeah, are the ADSs necessary? You have a Warden to try and survive that. The only thing you're really worried about is frag grenades there.
I mean,
I like the pullback of the ADS there. I'll give Storms credit and Psychopath credit for that one. So, hey, we're going to have Socrates playing the Warden holding server stairs. For the rest of the attack here for the Grizzlies as they turn their attention towards the basement. Again, no roaming coming out right now for Psychopaths on the defense. Socrates did go topside and open up some hatches just to provide some confusion, but imping a little bit of what they saw from the Grizzlies on their server defense. They got a 3-man hold.
Okay, this is interesting to say the least, okay? Because Warden, as we stated, we had an admin confirmed. He was originally banned, so that decision has been reversed, and we were not well aware of it whatsoever. However, that's just going to be up on the board, so he's going to be able to dispatch of any ADSs, and if you want to dispose any flash grenades, it's going to be quite intriguing, because although we talked about it not countering smoke, since there is no smoke and there's no ying on the board, it does counter flashbangs. So activate your thing right now. You're going to get pushed, but it's not going to matter whatsoever. That's going to be one shotgun. Can he land a second one? He's going to try and get aggressive. He's going to hear the flash go out, and he's going to get flashed, and he's going to get taken out. So Warden somehow getting flash banged in. Unfortunately, it's not going to pan out in his favor, but it will pan out in the favor of the defense as he's able to tag one on in, and he's going to be able to get another down onto Clutch, and that's going to be Storm's going to be aggressive. Unfortunately, though, he's not going to come out with that engagement, simply, although he does get one kill, and he does get a Zofia. Definitely argue that it wasn't in favor of his team because of the time factor, and you can say, oh, but health advantage in the favor of Psychopaths. Yeah, well, they still got a minute left on the clock, and when taking server, already getting rid of a lot of utility up on the board, it's not going to be looking so good. I mean, they still have a couple smoke canisters to work with. They do have a C4 and a Evil Eye. However, those can easily get dispatched with Thatcher.
Bozak still playing in behind the server rack here and smoking off the server stairs, and with the server hatch presumably open, it is. Now he'll be full blind as he walks square underneath the hatch. He was able to do some damage though, but Zakado will collect the kill. So there goes your smoke. You're down to one Nitrocell. The good news is here for the Psychopaths on defense, you have an Alda and a Nitrocell. you're looking pretty good in terms of the health advantage that you have. And there's only 15 seconds remaining as they all need to collapse into the site. Kozak holding Red Hall into the long angle for default plant, but Zakato carrying Diffuser is going to be heading towards the hatch. Not sure that anyone in Psychopath is well aware, but Kozak will line up one on the clutch with a headshot. The plant going down, but Stilio onto Angel into the overtime now trying to frag out. Zakato has no chance, and Kozak will wrap that one up. In terms of the Warden, okay.
I'm sure you guys can tell why I really want to talk about this clip. It's because this is the first time Warden is ever being used in any type of Rainbow Six competitive format. Like the caster said, originally Warden and Nook were both banned because R6 Canada Nationals started before Warden and Nook were eligible for Pro League play, but that was reversed, and now Warden is available in the R6 Canada Nationals. The reason why I want to talk about him is because a lot of people, including myself, has touted him as one of the most useless operators in the entire game. Simply because he really does not do a whole lot and is incredibly situational to the point where the very few situations where he would work, you could just use someone else. But focusing on the play, I do agree with the casters. I think Jaeger moving his ADS was a good choice because, like they said, Warden doesn't really need an ADS. I guess it could be used to block the frag grenades, but they're just going to flash in anyways and burn the ADS. It's not necessary. One thing I will say that the casters did not know is that the reason why Warden does not activate his gadget here when they're throwing in flashes is because it is disabled by the EMP. His glasses are an electronic. They can be disabled by the Thatcher grenade. So this is why he gets so aggressive and why he doesn't just sit back and wait. I will say one thing he could have done is at the very last second when he's about to push in, you can see that the EMP is about to end in the bottom left corner, which means he would be able to use his gadget. They had just started flashing in, so he would have been able to activate his gadget and then hold. This would have meant that the attackers would either push in and die if they decide to push against a Warden with his gadget activated, or they would have had to use another EMP, which would have been great, because wasting Thatcher utility is perfect, especially when attacking basement. Overall, I do think Warden did a fairly good job here at holding them back, but unfortunately EMP did completely ruin his capability of holding the staircase. And there's not too much to say about the rest of the round. It played out as most people would expect. The only thing I would say was a little bit iffy was the fact that Maestro's camera was facing up towards the roof as opposed to facing towards where the attackers were coming from. I'm not sure if this was a defensive tactic to make sure that they couldn't destroy it. One tactic a lot of people have been employing is that you put your Maestro turret facing towards wherever you want it to, and then if there's a Thatcher, you aim it up towards the roof. That way if they disable it, the attackers can't destroy the camera because the holes aren't open on the front, it's looking upwards. So I'm not sure if that was a defensive tactic or if that was just a misplay, but in a situation like that, it would have been a lot nicer to have the camera facing down, especially since all of the EMPs had been used. And then the dead teammates could have made the calls, as well as his camera could have been ready to kill anyone who dropped in instead of facing the roof and being useless. I also want to add, I kind of missed it when talking about all the Warden stuff, is good job on Jaeger for adapting the play. Moving the ADS early was a good call, as well as being ready to take over for Warden as soon as he died. Since Warden is supposed to be fairly good at holding angles and preventing people from pushing in, I'm sure that the attackers did not think that another person would be sitting on staircase with him. And as soon as Warden went down, Jaeger stepped up immediately and traded. And overall put it in their favor. They went 2 for 2.5. They killed 2 people, Sledge and Zofia, and also downed Thatcher. So overall, they held that staircase as well as they could.
Crusher even on the Legion. He's not playing all that passively. I think he's going to drop back down now. Yes, he will. But I'm interested where LSG is playing up here inside of Jim and the Avec with him as well. This is dangerous. Even Jim's like playing on the dock could definitely get aggressive later in the round if he chooses to. We'll see how this roam works out for them, though. Again, this is something they really struggle with, and this is what I'm talking about. Jim's ready to get aggressive just with the rest of his boys.
And honestly, the aggression can be potentially catastrophic for either team, really. I mean, having such a player in a rather precarious standpoint really can do some damage to your defenders remaining on the site. I mean, having that man advantage can really do damage, especially on the top floor. However, if you're able to outright thwart out any entry fragging attackers, you can really impact a push simply because, again, man advantage. We like to attribute Clubhouse as one of those maps where people like to integrate any position and try and put themselves in an upheaval standpoint regarding these trades. Now, when you're not able to get those trades, when it just ends up being an absolute shutout, eventually you have to succumb to the reality that you are the only one alive, and you're not going to be in a position that you can win out the round. So, we're going to see LSG upstairs, and I do believe he has been droned out. So we're most likely going to see a convoluted push upon his standpoint within just a matter of a couple seconds. However, it does appear there's a little bit of a stall coming out from the attack. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds left, and they don't seem to have quite the most brilliant idea of what they would like to push yet, as we're see there's still going to be a little bit divulged. That's wait, is that a triple dirt push?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
You got Maple leading the charge.
Oh,
Oh, no.
my
Ken's coming in
God.
first, and they're going to get gunned down by Jim as he tries to pick himself up, but no, he will not. There's the first kill coming down as the Hablana continues to get these refrags. It's 3 in a row from coast to coast, and Supernova, it's only their roamers up top who are actually still alive. This is exactly how you want to take this. Now, Nievek has come on down, and he's starting to cause some havoc. LSG going to get a kill as well, being able to clean up 1, so that puts it into 4-on-2, but the diffuser going down from Nievek. And Nievek falling. This is very going poorly for them. LSG, they don't know where he's at, though. Sneaking around the map, gets his double kill, but it won't be enough. It's coast to coast to take round number 6, and they go up 4-2 on the half.
So I'm sure you guys can tell why I really want to talk about this clip. It's because it's basically what I love to do in ranked, is full 5-man push through a very obscure or random way. But they didn't just decide to do the rush right off the bat, they actually adapted perfectly to make this play. Early on, they droned out, realized that Alibi was holding above and Jaeger was also roaming. The defenders were holding very aggressively for top floor, even though they were defending basement. So allocating all these resources upstairs means that they're not going to have as much stuff available to them in the actual objective site. So the attackers decide to make the call, and they rotate over towards dirt. Thatcher was already inside the building, so he goes through kitchen and starts throwing his EMPs on the hatch to give the defenders the impression that the attackers are actually going for kitchen. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is all going through tunnel. And while this is happening, they are droning out tunnel extensively, making sure there's no traps in there, no gadgets that will stop them. I think Doc was onto their play a little bit. He kept looking at tunnel and then looking up, waiting for them to break the hatch. But then he decided to hop on cameras to make sure that his intel was correct, and they decided to all run through the tunnel and kill him. And realistically, in that situation, Doc did the best that he could. There's 5 people running at you at once. You can only do so much as one person. The other 2 defenders, Smoke and Legion, did run in to try to help him, but it was way too late at that point. And then the whole reason why they did this play is because Alibi and Jaeger are roaming upstairs. What are they going to do? They have to come all the way downstairs after you've already taken site and put down the diffuser. They have no way of winning this. So the attackers played them like a fiddle and made their super extended hold completely backfire on them. And honestly, this might be my favorite play of the entire R6 Canada Nationals, just because of how crazy it is to have a 5-man push through dirt tunnel on Clubhouse. And I'm sure you guys will probably see me and my friends try this strat in rank sometime soon.
And if you want to be at those EGLX finals, I mean, you can purchase your tickets. They're on the main website for Canada Nationals. If you want to go tune in, you want to go to Toronto, have a good time with casting guys, watching the beautiful matches that will be enthralling within the Canada National scene, you're more than welcome to. We encourage it. It's going to be a lot of fun, so definitely look into that. You know what also it's going to be, we're going to be looking into? That's going to be LSG looking through his heartbeat sensor to try and get a C4 on the board, and boom goes the Dynamite, and there goes Tack, baby. Thatcher off the board. Another one to follow up. He's able to get the down. Can he finish him off? He's going to try and get aggressive and get the pick, but Captain's going to get caught up on 3K for LSG.
I like that. LSG. He's popping off, and this is surely to be a 5th round on the board for Supernova after that incredible performance. You started off with a C4, you follow her up with a 2K, you get the down, and then you think, there's probably somebody trying to help that guy. No, he's going to be put to bed too. Leaving it all on a Maple and Phoenix, the last 2 players for coast to coast. This is a very tough spot to be in. You're in a 2-on-5. LSG is weak. That's something, but again, he's been so explosive this round and that last map as well. Really been a big player for Supernova. Of course, team captain of this squad. He gets his 4th. A headshot on a Phoenix, and if he finds the last one to Maple, he will be able to close it down with the ace.
All right, Merc.
Good night. And I think he deserves that one. He's been very, very good so far. He's lurking on the astronomy stairs, wants to pop up and find one more onto Maple, but we're going to play it very slow. Maple inside of the walk-in closet. Still looking for one here in the bathroom as well. That's maybe where he'll find LSG, but LSG's kind of got to get aggressive here. Oh, now he's entering into the bathroom. LSG here as well. Is he going to go for the ace? Oh, he's right outside the window. No, gets the down. Unfortunate. Maple's able to come out on top. Now he can go for the ace clutch, but he won't get it. Supernova, despite the ace being denied, will be able to take the round, and Crusher finishes off with it.
For this last clip, we're going to talk about how LSG on Pulse somehow managed to get a quad, which I'm not sure if he should have gotten away with, but he 100% did. He did play this fairly well given the situation because he knew that he was in danger. He 100% knew that someone was pushing in through the laundry room. He heard that door break while he was still on his scanner. And for the most part, a lot of Pulses will play this place very passively. They'll wait for a thermite to try to go up against the wall, and then they'll blow it up before they can actually get the thermite charge off. That way you stop them from breaching. But I'm not sure if this was combined with other intel that he knew it was Thatcher there and he just decided to blow it up, or if he just got aggressive and blew it up right away. If I had to guess, I would say it was more so he knew that the people were going to push from laundry, so he threw up the C4 before he would get killed from behind, just so he could at least get a kill. But he played smart. As soon as he got the kill, he rotated over to watch laundry, knowing that they would try to either be aggressive or peek in at him, and he managed to get the down on Buck. And the plan Capital I would say would be bordering on kind of lucky, but also playing it super well. I'm sure Pulse knew that they wouldn't expect him to sprint right up towards the downed person and try to kill them. The attackers would probably assume that Pulse would hold an angle and watch. Meanwhile, instead he actually just was aggressive and ran right up, caught Capital by surprise, and managed to kill both of them. So well done by him. And moving forward on the staircase, this is just a really nice shot and also awareness of the situation. He definitely heard Zofia break into that little connector room and then just waited for him to push up and assumed where he would be. Got the headshot. It was a nice shot. He 100% deserved to say goodnight in the chat. And then there's nothing too special about the last kill, but he almost did get the ace. He pushed up exactly where Hibana was. He just missed his shots, but the defenders managed to close out the round. And honestly, I think if Pulse had not gotten that triple, it probably would have gone more in the attacker's way. Simply because they would have had a Buck and Capital and Zofia all below, probably raining terror on all the defenders above. But overall, great situational awareness by Pulse. And that will be it for this Pro League analysis video. I did try to switch it up a little bit. In the other ones, I tried to add more clips and didn't necessarily dissect them as much as I could, and this time I decided to just choose about 5 clips and dissect them a lot more than I did before. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little change, and overall hope you enjoyed this Pro League analysis video. I will be doing another one in 2 weeks, so look forward to that. And don't forget, if you want to watch this stuff live, all you have to do is just go to the Rainbow Six channel on Twitch. The R6 Canada Nationals will be live tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so go watch it. I'll be in the chat, hang out with you guys for a bit while I do editing and recording. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.